Merry Christmas and welcome to Oscar Sunday. I'm Austin Johnson.
I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
And today we're going to be talking about one of the most legendary Christmas movies of all time. It's a Wonderful Life, 1946, directed by Frank Capra, starring, of course, Mr. James Stewart, a 5-time nominated movie at the 19th Academy Awards. We went to the 19th Academy Awards long time ago, like 90 episodes ago. We talked about the best picture movies from that year. Best Years of Our Lives won. I think it was pretty clear that we both have a deep passion for It's a Wonderful Life through that episode. And now here we are. This is our third Christmas here on Oscar Sunday, and feels good to be doing this movie. We did Die Hard the first year of Oscar Sunday, then we did Home Alone, and now we're doing It's a Wonderful Life. It's a pretty good run. We're going to keep that thing going. It's a cool subgenre, Christmas movies, and that's kind of how I want to open up. Of course, this movie is something we both try to watch every year. It's a Wonderful Life. But what else have you been watching the past week or so? As we are, it's Christmas Day today, so we're recording on Friday night, the 23rd. But obviously we've both been checking out stuff. So what have you been getting into?
Well, I've been watching a lot of 2022 films that I missed, for no particular reason.
Yeah,
and
it's not close to the end of the year.
Yeah, it's not like we have a giant award ceremony on the horizon that these films are going to be featured in. But I went and saw pretty much the highlight of award season for me, The Whale.
Yes,
and it was an incredibly depressing yet oddly uplifting film about just pure empathy and what it means to truly love somebody and look past all of their faults and love them for who they are and how difficult that can be. And I can't believe Brendan Fraser had it in him. I'm astonished that he was able to go to a place so dark, but knowing what he's been through over the past few years, I'm not surprised what he was able to tap into. I'm impressed. I hope him and Aronofsky forge a relationship going forward, because he brought out something incredible from Brendan Fraser. And the film made me sob, it made me reflect, it made me think, it made me feel way healthier than I thought I was. And yeah, that is going to happen. There's some scenes in that movie that are straight up gross. And I've never seen a film tackle food addiction before, but the scenes of him eating feel like scenes from like Trainspotting of somebody shooting up. Like it is framed like a straight up addiction that's going to kill him, because it is. And I was astonished. It was unlike anything I'd ever seen before. I urge everybody to go see this. I want this to be successful. I know this is going to make a splash come award season, and this is Brendan Fraser's Oscar to lose. So that is my highlight tonight.
Oh yeah, that's exciting stuff. I have not been able to go see that. I've been quite busy. Haven't really been able to go to the theater for this stuff. I definitely want to see that, and I also want to see Babylon. So I'm hoping to knock those two out. Hopefully next week. Got a couple of off days after Christmas, so that would be nice. I don't know which one I want to see more. I want to see The Whale really bad because it's Brendan, because it obviously impacted you a lot. But I want to see Babylon just because it looks like so up my alley. It just looks so ridiculous and absurd and over the top.
Well, the newest FILMGAZM team member, Isabel, went and saw Babylon and told me that it was quite a film. She didn't tell me much because she said she didn't want to affect, like, she didn't want to give me a bias of the film before I see it, which is funny. So she liked it a lot, and knowing her kind of like genre and what she prefers, I think that's an endorsement. So it's gonna be a historically interesting, debaucherous early Hollywood coke fueled nightmare.
Yeah, and I'm in. I'm in. I'm in. I'm in for that. Yeah, obviously love the cast too, and I have enjoyed most of Damien Chazelle's stuff. So yeah, yeah, I want to see both. I'll try to make time. Um, Christmas movies. I've been kind of churning them out the past few days. I did. We both got to see Confess Fletch.
Yes.
That's on Showtime at the moment. Blew me away. I had heard my oldest brother Adam. He went and saw it in theaters. He's the only person in the entire country, I think, that went and saw it in theaters. That's a joke, but he liked it a lot. He had a weekend where he saw like 4 or 5 movies in the same weekend. And just try to just use he had a free weekend, just try to use it to see some movies that he wanted to see. And he said, this one stands out just because he said it reminded him a lot of The Nice Guys. When he was talking to me about it, he was like, "You'll like it a lot. It's kind of a spy thriller, but it's also really funny and features John Hamm doing stuff that I just didn't really know he had in him." So I agree with him, and I'm glad we both enjoyed that. I definitely suggest people check that out if they have Showtime. But as far as Christmas movies go, I've had a good run here the past few days. Aside from It's a Wonderful Life, I watched um, This Christmas from 2007, which is a movie my wife and I watch now. We watched it probably 3 years in a row. She introduced it to me. It's a completely all black cast. It's like Regina King, Delroy Lindo, Loretta Devine, Idris Elba, just like fucking Chris Brown is in it. It's just got a crazy cool cast, and it's just like a feel good, fun movie. It's cool seeing a movie that's got an all black cast where it's just a normal family, normal Christmas movie. It's not there's nothing that you have to like really go through necessarily. You're just watching a Christmas movie, so that's really cool. It's like a really really good movie for representation, and I've had fun watching it with her the past few years. It's something that she enjoys, and now I've kind of adopted it for my Christmas rotation. And then I watched on Shutter Christmas Bloody Christmas. That was you and Caleb, I believe, kind of went to bat for that movie, and I enjoyed it. I didn't love it, but I liked it. It was just fun, just a fun ride. I will say the first like hour completely blew me away, and I was like so locked in. I'm not a huge fan of horror movies when they get to the end and there's just he's dead, no he's not, he's dead, no he's not. It's just like I just get fatigued.
Yeah.
But it was an impressive movie. I loved the lighting of it. I loved how it felt like a rock concert. I loved the gore. The violence was fantastic. I liked the performances. I thought it was really funny at the beginning because you had the two main characters. There's like a lot of sexual tension and a lot of kind of uh, pop culture banter that was really funny and kind of, I don't know, kind of on the nose for characters like that. But it was fun. I had a good time. And then after that, I went ahead and watched two of my all time favorite Christmas movies, which is Black Christmas 1974 and Christmas Vacation 1989. You just can't get a better double feature than that. Black Christmas, Jesus Christ, just I was introduced to the movie by FILMGAZM about 3 years ago. We did it. You and I did an episode, and I've kind of just watched it ever since. And not even around Christmas. I just like it a lot. It's just a really really good horror movie. One of my favorite '70s horror movies. And man, this time I just was like, all right, this is a 10 out of 10. This is a 5-star movie. I just love this thing. I even added it to I have this thing going right now where I'm trying to figure out what my favorite 100 movies are. It's probably not going to make the cut, but I added it to a list of like 150, 160 movies. So it's in between 100 and 200 probably. And so that's cool. I love when that happens. And Christmas Vacation, same thing. It just keeps getting better and better. It's like each time I watch it, I find more joy, more humor, and I fondly remember the experience that you and I had in Los Angeles a little over a year ago now. It was in mid-December last year. We went to Quentin Tarantino's theater, New Beverly, and saw Christmas Vacation and Scrooge double feature. And so now when I watch it, there's also that attached to it. And what a special, special moment. One of the cooler theater experiences I've ever had. So yeah, it's been a good run, man. It's been a good Christmas watching week for me.
Yeah, I know, man. I've been following your updates, and yeah, I love the way you told me you were watching Christmas Vacation. What was the quote you texted me?
Uh, Retooling? I'll retool you.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, he's watching Christmas Vacation. Like, yeah. Didn't take 2 seconds.
Yeah, no, it's just wonderful. It's just a fun fucking movie, and probably, and like, I'm not really kidding. I'm pretty comfortable saying this at this point. Like, one of my all-time favorite supporting performances is Randy Quaid in that movie. Just lights out stuff. Like, that's the kind of comedic performance that no highbrow people are going to look at and take seriously. But I think they should. I really do. I think like what he's doing in that movie is really difficult to pull off, and he pulls it off exquisitely. He is magic in that movie. I always get a kick out of him when he finally shows up with his kids and his wife. And the best scene for me is when they're at the grocery store and he just keeps fucking piling on, like dog food and stuff. And yeah, he's perfect in that movie. So yeah, good shit.
One of my favorite random throwaway lines is when he's in the grocery store scene where he just asks Clark, didn't your company kill all those people in India not too long ago?
Yeah.
And Clark's just like, no, we missed out on that one.
Genius stuff.
That's a great one. Speaking of Black Christmas, I've been saving that for Christmas Eve. Because I watched the shit one for last week's Beyond the Bad, and that was
so bad.
Oh God,
that's so bad.
How dare that movie call itself Black Christmas?
It's hilarious though. It's fucking hilarious how bad it is.
My cousin, who has gotten into like horror pretty like heavily over the past year, I'm gonna show him Black Christmas, so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I've been kind of just going through my normal Christmas rotation. I've recently learned, at least as like at the moment, my favorite Christmas movie as we're talking is probably Jingle All the Way.
Oh yeah, sure. I haven't seen that in a few years. I should maybe throw that one on here the next few days.
Yeah, it's a classic. It's hilarious. It just spits in the face of commercialism at Christmas, and just has some of my favorite lines of all time. That was really a bomb. Just things like that. Can I get a bike and a slinky? No, your father's been laid off. It's just such a perfect movie. Yeah, I love Christmas. I love Christmas movies. I watched Bad Santa for the first time in a long time. That was a blast. I've been watching a lot of stuff multiple times. I watched Jingle All the Way like 3 times. Watched The Grinch twice. The big one, I'm trying to make time to watch the new Christmas Story, because I've heard pretty decent things about it.
I've never been a big fan of that one. I don't know. If I'm gonna watch, Bob Clark, I know where I'm going.
Yeah, fair enough. And actually, every time I watch A Christmas Story, I am less invested. It's like I start doing other stuff or thinking about other stuff. I think I'm losing my interest in A Christmas Story. So I get it.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. As I've gotten older, I don't have to watch things just because it's a classic. I'm more like, well, there's stuff I know I'm gonna have a lot of fun watching, and that's different stuff. So it's definitely some horror sprinkled throughout. So the one that I need to see, like literally over the next couple of days, is Die Hard. I haven't watched that yet. You and I got to see my favorite Christmas movie, Batman Returns, in theaters on December 10th. So that's a couple weeks ago, and that was an absolute blast. Yeah, it's been a good December. I've enjoyed my December overall. Been watching all kinds of stuff and one of the better Christmas runs I've had of the past few years. So, but It's a Wonderful Life is, it's one of the best. It's one of the best of this subgenre. I think what I like about it is if it weren't a Christmas movie, you change a few things about the plot, this would still be an absolute classic. It doesn't really lean into it a ton. Of course, towards the end, there's the big kind of, well, everybody's in their house and there's the giant tree and they're singing songs and it's a great moment. But you could retool things here and there, and you get retool, and you get you could have a great movie still called It's a Wonderful Life. You could still have Mr. James, Jimmy Stewart, like batting 1,000%, and you could have a movie dealing with an angel trying to get its wings, taking on this tough case, and this guy dealing with, looking back on why his life is important and kind of always reminding people that what you do does matter. So like that's always a lesson that can be great for any movie. It doesn't have to be a Christmas movie. That's one of the things I like about it.
Yeah, Christmas is secondary to the movie, but it does have this timeless vibe of like, just take a good lesson from this thing.
Yeah.
It's not about, Christmas is important, but it is, but it's not, that's not the message. The message is, no man is what does Clarence write in the book? No man is a failure who has friends. Like that's the message. And it's beautiful.
Yeah, like exactly that could work on its own, and it does. I don't know. Do you know when this movie came out?
Yeah, January 1947.
Whoa. So technically it's not a 1946 movie. It's a technical 1947, but competed with the movies from 1946. So it's got kind of that weird thing going for it. That's fascinating. So it came out after Christmas. I like that though. I kind of like that. A post-Christmas movie is there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with watching a Christmas movie in the middle of the summer. It's okay.
I know, but it feels weird, and I never do it.
I do with some stuff. I could watch Christmas Vacation whenever, wherever. I don't care.
Not for the summer. I've got Vacation.
Yeah, I don't like the other ones nearly as much as Christmas Vacation. It's my favorite by far.
Yeah, I'm with you. But I also like to, make these films kind of once a year treats where it's like, oh, here comes December. Now I get to watch Jingle All the Way. Now I get to watch Scrooged. That's how I do it. But, no.
Yeah. I'm not sitting here watching fucking It's a Wonderful Life, year round all the time, around the clock. I know what you mean, because part of Christmas is what people do to build it up to what it is. That's the whole thing. When you put something down on a calendar for the entire world or nation, whatever it is, and you get people looking forward to a certain date and a certain time, you're going to build like an anticipation. And that's just what we do as people. Like we have to look forward to things. And Christmas is obviously probably the biggest example of that. It's the day that people look forward to the most. While it has its issues, for sure, it still can be what you make it. It has that going for it. And I definitely like to lean into these movies during December because, it is a little colder outside. There is that thing kind of going around, oh, I'm going to be around family more. I'm going to be, doing this and kind of celebrating. So it does feel right watching these movies. Like Elf, with Will Ferrell, like, it's got such a spirit to it that you're like, oh, I want to kind of embody that spirit, that kind of insane nature of, this is so important. Christmas is the bomb. Like, this is what this is what I live for. There's something kind of neat and silly, but also neat about it.
True. And, the older I get, the more I find my Christmas spirit dwindling. So I like to use these films.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I hate it. It's like, I feel like Halloween was 2 days ago and now it's Christmas. And it's like, as soon as Christmas is over, it'll be, St. Patrick's Day. Like, where does the time go?
Yeah, as you get older, you start realizing, oh, this is all just a game. Your cynicism, obviously takes place as you get older. I mean, there was a stretch obviously now having a daughter, she the past 5 days, leading up to Christmas, she's like, "Is today, is it today?" I'm like, "No, it's on Sunday." And she's like, "Oh, that's today." I'm like, "No, Sunday, Sunday." And she's like, "Ice cream." I'm like, "No, Sunday the day." That like, come on, let's get this through your head. But there was a stretch there before I was a dad and before I met Brian and all this, where age 19, 20, 21, where I was like, fuck it, I like don't care at all. I was a Scrooge for sure, and definitely not so much anymore. But I see through it. I work at a grocery store. Like I see what this is. And, like the company I work for is making more money than it makes the entire year during this week. It's like, well, yeah, that's what they want. you know, they want you to buy useless things as you're walking out of the store, like, oh, look, a candy cane, and you're like, yep, there goes another $3 fucking, you jackass. Like that. It's a game. I see it, but you do have the power to make it what you want it to be.
The more we do these, the more I realize I met you at the best possible time.
Oh yeah, yeah, 100%. Although it would have been cool if we would have met like in middle school. You just never know. You just never know like what could happen. Yeah, but yeah, I definitely was kind of a dick for a stretch there. Still can be at times, but not as much anymore. Uh, James Stewart. We've talked about this guy a few times. I think it's been a while though, where we've actually done a movie of his or talked about him at length. Man, he can carry the shit out of a movie, no matter what it is, no matter how good it is, no matter who's directing it. He has one of the most like singular just just talents that I've ever watched. And every time I watch him, I realize that more and more. He's got one of the most recognizable voices of all time. And he's one of those guys where it's like if he's not in it, I just don't know if I would like this movie as much. He has just talent oozing out of him. I love this guy to death. He's become kind of an Oscar Sunday favorite, and it's cool to be able to talk about another one of his movies.
Yeah, the guy exudes star power. And not only that, but basic humanity. And he just feels like the kind of guy who would, save his father's business and keep it going and thrive, make this town thrive just so the bad guy wouldn't destroy it. I believe that he would do that. But I also believe he would, accidentally witness a murder in the apartment building across the street. It's like anything he's a part of, I buy it because he was one of the first character actors. And I think that a lot of modern actors, I think he's one of the guys that gets borrowed from a lot, even if, people won't admit it. Come on, you're watching the same shit we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, I love the guy to death. And this might be his finest hour, depending on who you talk to.
Yeah. That's kind of why I brought it up. Is I think it's in his pantheon of Titanic performances. He has this ability to go, and I think this is what people steal from him most. Is he has this really really cool ability to go from 0 to 100 without being annoying. Guys that I feel like can do that really well, like Al Pacino, obviously is like so good at talking and then screaming the next second, and Leonardo DiCaprio has shown signs of that. Like there's always guys, like some of the best guys in the game. That's just one of the things you got to be able to do is like be able to freak out, but also kind of control that and harness it. And James Stewart in this movie, with what he's dealing with and like how he's freaking out, there are a couple times where he's screaming at the top of his lungs, but I'm not thinking to myself, oh, this is outrageous, this is overacting. It feels fucking real. He's got that in him, that it factor. And I don't know, man. For me, it's this, Rear Window, and Anatomy of Murder. Like that guy, like that's his gauntlet for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna add the Philadelphia Story to that.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's his Rushmore. Yeah,
Yeah, if you got to pick four for Rushmore, that's the fourth. But yeah, I'm with you, man. There's scenes in this movie because he's got to play not just cheerful everyman, but he's also got to be near suicidal, despondent, like end of his rope father. And in those moments, like you really see how far he can go. And this was also like right after he got back from serving in World War II. So I'm sure there was some trauma, something he could tap into there to go to a place like that. And you buy it. You just believe, like, I don't, you're just like he is. Like, I do not see a way out of this. And he's like, I don't know what to do. The first time in the whole movie. And, for a lot of people, like, first time they've seen Jimmy Stewart be broken, which is crazy. This movie does so many things that no other films in the 40s were doing. And that's one of them. To show a man near suicide, just like end of his rope, a family man. Yeah, there's a lot I admire about this film.
Yeah, and neither of us are religious people, but the way this movie handles him kind of like talking to God is like really interesting, really fascinating. When he goes to the bar, he's like, God, if you're out there, like please get me out of this. And he literally says, I'm at the end of my rope. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. It's such a fucking gut wrenching scene.
Well, and also the depiction of God in this movie is not, the man in a white beard on a cloud. It's like the universe. It's an ethereal, abstract God, which was probably pretty ballsy in the 40s to do something like that. And to show angels as like, flawed beings trying their hardest. It's like, this is great.
Like they're elves. Yeah. So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking Clarence rules. Attaboy, Clarence. Yeah. With that, yeah, let's jump in. Let's jump in. Let's do some awards for this movie so we can really dig into what we love most about it. And then we'll briefly look at the 19th Academy Awards. 5 nominations, no wins, but we can still check them out. For best quote, we have the Quentin Tarantino Award. For the best music moment, we have the Ennio Morricone Award. The best performance of the movie, the Philip Seymour Hoffman Award, and the best scene of the movie, the Roger Deakins. So take it away with your Tarantino.
This is the scene where Potter decides the best way to get rid of Bailey is to lure him to the dark side. And he offers him a job, 20 grand a year, and says, all you got to do is stop trying to save your father's business. Let the savings and loan or building and loan just go. Let it go. And for a second, George is like, well, this is great. And he shakes his hand. And as he shakes his hand, he realizes, wait a minute, this is a deal with the devil. What am I doing? And he yells at Potter. He says, you sit around here and you spin your little webs and you think the whole world revolves around you and your money. Well, it doesn't, Mr. Potter. And the whole vast configuration of things, I'd say you were nothing but a scurvy little spider. And then he turns to his aide and he goes, and that goes for you too. And then he storms out. Perfect. It's a beautiful scene. I love it.
Yeah. No, the answer's no. Yeah. Yeah, go talk to your wife about it. Yeah. It's like Mr. Potter's such an ass. Yeah. No, that's a brilliant scene. I love that turning point in the movie of, yeah, you could make, I think the deal is 20 grand for 3 years, like a contract, which obviously at that time is, it's like a whole heap of money. And you're going to have a stable life there for at least 3 years and be able to build your finances. And he's like, no, I can figure some things out on my own. Such a good scene and showcases Jimmy Stewart just fucking at it. So I chose another scene where I feel like Stewart showcases something special. The quote is from Clarence, but the scene, it's after he tries, after he has been saved essentially by Clarence, and he's freaking out, going around trying to figure out what's going on. There's no one knows who George Bailey is, and the most gut wrenching part of that whole bit is when he goes to try to talk to his mom. And it's such a brutal bit of the movie, but really impactful and really necessary. You really need to see that moment where he's like, okay, my mom doesn't know who I am. I'm not real. I don't exist here. And when he's walking away, uh, one of the most famous quotes of the movie is from Clarence after that. And he says, "Strange, isn't it? Each man's life touches so many other lives. When he isn't around, he leaves an awful hole, doesn't he?" Yeah. Just really good delivery, really big moment. You got James Stewart just freaking out, great facial expressions, and you got Clarence coming in with the banger. Just one of my favorite moments of the movie.
Yeah, and it's a great lesson. It's like you never really think about what your existence does to the world. If not everybody's going to change the world, in giant ways, they're not going to be leaders, they're not going to be revolutionaries, but to just one person, you could be the world. And you got to think about that sometimes. When you're at the end of your rope and you're thinking, I don't matter, you do to somebody.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think this movie does. I think they're. Uh, you know, Suicide's obviously like a huge, huge topic. This movie takes it seriously. It doesn't really beat around the bush, but it also doesn't treat you like an idiot. It treats each audience member as if you probably like the reason you relate to the movie is probably because you've gone through something similar. Now, maybe you didn't actually go to the bridge. Maybe not every audience member's been to the brink. But I think a lot of people are fucking lying if they haven't ever been in a place where they're like, I wish I wasn't born. I truly believe that. I think when people put down their walls and they become the most vulnerable uh, person that they can be. I think they'd be lying if they never had a moment like that. At least a moment. Some are luckier than others. Some people deal with it every day. Some people deal with every moment. Some people maybe have only dealt with it a literal second. I definitely know some people who are like, no, I don't go there. Like, I just don't go there. I don't. That's not where my mind takes me. And I know some people who have done that. Who have ended their life and have gone to that place or tried. And I love that this movie doesn't treat you like a fucking moron, but it also doesn't beat around the bush. It's like it's straddling a fine line, and it's 1946. This is like a really tough place to go during that time. And I point to movies like this when people excuse old movies for not being sensitive or not being truthful or vulnerable. It's like, well, but it can be done, and it was done at times. So there's no need to excuse a movie that's just politically incorrect or completely insensitive because it was from the 40s. We have examples, and we've seen them on this podcast specifically on Oscar Sunday. We've done the work, we've researched these movies. It is very possible. The movie that won Best Picture, Best Years of Our Lives, tough as nails. Like tough as nails. And like you have to have a gut to watch that movie. And this is kind of the same case here. And I respect that a lot out of it. And again, it's Jimmy Stewart going through this stuff too. It's not, sure it's George Bailey, but it's Jimmy Stewart. So you're kind of put in a really interesting spot as a fan of the movie or an audience member. And I respect the hell out of that, So once Clarence comes into play, I think this movie changes big time.
Yeah, you're right. And I give most of that credit to Frank Capra.
Yeah. It's about time to bring him up. I agree with you.
Yeah, that man is one of the most talented, maybe one of the top 5 greatest filmmakers of all time. The movies this guy made, the messages he was giving in a time where everything was mostly fluff. It was held back. You weren't allowed to be vulnerable, to be serious in film very often, unless you had the skill of a filmmaker like Frank Capra. His just right here on IMDb, his top 4, his known for: It's a Wonderful Life, It Happened One Night, You Can't Take It With You, and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
Yeah, just the master. Yeah.
Yeah. He's, to me, the main reason why this film has lasted as long as it has. And yeah, a lot of the major themes of this film, he, had final say of putting them in this, and he believed in this, and he believed that this was necessary to tell this story. And I'm glad he had that kind of faith.
Yeah, me too, man. Yeah, well said. Mr. Capra, you're the man. He is one of the most important guys, especially when it comes to the Oscars. he's just a guy that got recognized so fast, so quickly, and not only was he awarded a lot for his art, but his movies made money, they entertain people, and they change people's lives. So it's a he kind of checks all the boxes. Good shit. That's a good first category. Tarantino always delivers. The Ennio Morricone best music moment. What do you got? This is a cool little category for us.
I went with something a little bit less serious, a little bit more goofy. The Charleston contest at the high school.
There you go. Great scene.
Yeah, it's the scene where George and Mary essentially fall in love. Dancing the Charleston. And then, the rival opens the pool and nothing changes. Everyone's just still happy because you can't phase a man like George Bailey. And
I love that touch when they keep dancing in the water.
It's beautiful. They're both doing it. They're both still smiling. Yeah, that's the kind of love we should all strive to have, when you can fall in a pool and you're still smiling.
Yeah, straight up. I love that. I love that scene. It's like 20, 30 minutes into the movie. It's a good upbeat scene. It's got good choreography. A lot going on. The opening of the platform to the water is like, what the fuck is this? It's kind of out of left field. It's great.
Well, I also love how George meets Mary. His buddy's like, hey, can you dance with my sister? And George is like, oh, I'm sure she's got a great personality. I don't want to do that. And then he sees her and it's like, they connect eyes and it's instantaneous.
Yeah, it's the same as the West Side Story moment of, I see you from across the gym and here we are. This is meant to be cinema. It's a great moment. I struggled here because the end of the movie features some songs, right? When they're all singing in the house, hark the herald. I love that whole bit. And they sing Auld Lang Syne. That's tough for me to say. I love that kind of like melee at the end. It's such a beautiful moment. It's obviously when everybody comes forward and is like, George, you're the fucking man, dude. Like, Bedford Falls would suck without you. It's such a cool moment, I've always thought this movie lands pretty well. It sticks the landing. It could have gone so many different places. It could have been obviously a lot darker, but he comes around. Clarence does indeed earn his wings, and everyone recognizes George Bailey as being a big time member of this community. And when they're all singing together and his brother comes in, it's just such a sweet moment. And I love that kind of melee of songs that they sing, and the movie ends. It's great. As a kid, the first time I saw it, I just thought like, oh, this is a good old movie. I didn't know those existed. and now, of course, I think much differently, but I don't know. The ending is so solid. And so this is where the most Christmassy spirit comes out.
Yeah, I had the same. I was against watching this movie for a very long time because prior to Filmgasm, I was very much like, if it's black and white, if it's old, if it's boring, I don't want it. I was very much just throwing whatever to the side without a care in the world.
Me too. So you're saying, let's see, before Filmgasm. So 2013, 2012. So you're like teen years into your late teen years. Yeah, I was definitely the same way where I was like, if it's not Scorsese or Tarantino, fuck off.
Yeah,
just a dude, just a fucking dude, just a straight guy who's like, I don't give a shit. I need to see violence. And obviously now we've come a long way, my friend.
Yeah, I'm glad this movie actually is pretty instrumental in shifting me the other way. I finally, my grandma, this is her favorite Christmas movie. And she'd been she'd been trying to get me to watch this for years. And one day I relented. I don't remember why. I think I got tricked into it. I don't remember how it happened, but it went on. I was there. I had nowhere to go. So I sat there and I watched it and I fell in love. This was an instant 9 to me. I was like, this is beautiful. I was crying and I realized there's a much larger world of film than the one that I was living in. And since then,
Oh yeah.
I've just opened the floodgates. I'm still working on rom-coms, but everything else I've explored, and I haven't regretted a second of it. So I owe a lot to this film and to my grandma for opening my eyes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you need those pushes, right? You need those pushes from people who really care about this stuff for you to kind of adopt their passion. That's partly what it's all about. And yeah, I mean, some of my very favorite movies come from this era, from
Yeah,
this 40s 50s.
mine too now.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And movies that I watch one time and I'm like, holy shit, that's one of the best things I've seen in my life. It's happened through this show, through this podcast a few times, and I'm very very grateful for that. I really don't care anymore. I'll kind of, I'm not going to say I'll watch anything because I definitely am picky when it comes to my time,
Yeah,
but there is no genre, no time frame that's off of limits. It's all on the table. I'm not going to turn it down. I'm not going to sit here and be like, no, that's got subtitles. Like I'm good, or oh, that's black and white. Black and white photography is some of the coolest stuff you can see. Let's bring that up. So I texted you. I texted you. I was like, oh, it's on Amazon. I own It's a Wonderful Life, but it is nice to have these streaming services because it's so easy to go in and out and pause and all that jazz. It's actually probably the oldest DVD I have because it was my parents'. I'm never giving it up. I'm never upgrading it. I'm never buying a Blu-ray. I'm never ever gonna upgrade it because it's like fucking breaking and it looks like it's been worn out, like it's been passed down because it has been passed down. I'm never getting rid of it. The plastic's about to come off. I don't care. I just do not care. I don't care to have the nicest version of some things that are like sentimental for me. But I texted you. They have, and I didn't really even know this. Like this silly me. They have on Amazon. I was like, wait, why are there two It's a Wonderful Life? Like, what, was there a sequel? What happens in that? Like, do we just get to follow Clarence fucking flying around? Like that would be kind of sick. But it's a Wonderful Life, black and white, and it's a Wonderful Life in color. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. But I didn't really know that until like a few days ago. And I texted you like, do you watch? We had never talked about it. I've never watched it with you. I assumed you watched the black and white because that's the original version. And you were like immediately like, fuck no. Like, of course I watched the black and white one. That's preposterous. Like, why would I watch a colorized version of a movie that was intended to be black and white, that was made in black and white, photographed in black and white? That's what I'm gonna watch. And we were on the exact same page, and I was like, okay, cool, good. Because I don't want to watch this movie in color. I'm good.
I'm very against the colorization of film. I don't even like it the other way when like modern films that are made with a color, like with intention of being in color, are then like turned into like a black and white noir film. It's like that's not the vision. Like that's not what they were trying to make. I want to see what they're trying to make.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
I don't remember what I was watching. I think it was something stupid, but it had a very good point. Somebody said, should we repaint the Mona Lisa because we have better paints now? It's like, that's a good point.
That's a great point. Yeah. Yeah. Should we? Yeah. I watch a lot of old basketball games. That's like one of my favorite things to do in my spare time is watch like highlights of like 80s basketball because it's grainy, because the guys are wearing small shorts. The stuff that the fans are wearing is hilarious. It's just a different fashion, different culture. The production of the games is hilarious to me. Just the way they do things, the way they talk. I don't want that to be modernized. I don't want that. That's part of the thrill for me, is watching something that's from the 80s, like directly from 1985, Magic Johnson versus Larry Bird. Like that's what I'm going to watch. I don't need to see it with current production quality and HD and 4K and like all that stuff. I don't need that.
Well,
I want to go there. And same here. I want to go to 1946 and what they were trying to do with this movie.
I am a fan of like, working on the frame rate, making it look crispier. I am okay with that. I like a Blu-ray transfer, a 4K transfer, especially on older films like pre 1950, when the film is so grainy, oftentimes you can't even see what's going on. Like a lot of Chaplin short films have been redone in 4K and they look fucking gorgeous. So I do like that. But if they were to give me, a Charlie Chaplin short film that has been colorized, it's like, well, Chaplin didn't want to do that. So why should I watch it like that? It looks weird. It looks unfinished and it just takes you out of the movie. It never looks right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I definitely see where you're coming from there with the whole 4K movement is like things look nicer. It's clearer. You can watch Jaws and you're like, holy shit, the shark is right here. It looks really clean. I get all that.
I'll take any movie as clear as I can get it.
Yeah, I don't know. Part of me likes that 70s grain. I like that. That just kind of, I don't know, where it's like so clearly filmed on film. I like that.
Yeah, I gotcha. And they do. I like when they kind of preserve that flavor when they release like a newer edition of the film with more shit. A lot of times they'll still have that vibe, which is good.
That's the balance you're trying to find. Yeah.
The people who are doing this, who are preserving these films, they wouldn't be doing that if they didn't love these films. So they're trying to preserve as much of the film itself as they can. And most of the time they manage to pull that off.
Yeah, it's also about preservation. There's movies that we won't ever be able to see again because they got like ruined over time. Because if they're on film, it's very easy for that to get fucked up.
Yeah.
Which is why it's so cool when someone like Martin Scorsese does an entire cinema project, a world cinema project, where he's trying to conserve movies, save them, make a better version of it as far as clarity and definition. And now let's move forward and take care of this thing. That's really fucking neat.
Yeah. That's why I have so much respect for the Criterion Collection, because their whole goal is to find the most significant films from across the world and provide the most beautiful restoration of those films that you can get. And I love what they've done and I love what they continue to do.
Yeah. Totally agree, man. That's definitely my favorite attribute they have. Let's see. How did we get there?
I don't know. I don't remember.
We were talking about the best music moments, and then I asked you about, I guess it led to us when I was texting you while starting the movie, talking about black and white versus color. Anyway, yeah, good stuff. The Philip Seymour Hoffman Award, I mean, for me, it goes to one place, but I don't know about you. Best performance of the movie.
This is Jimmy's movie. No one's taking it away from him.
Yeah. I mean, let's just talk about second place if we want to have some fun. Let's see. I do think Lionel Barrymore is pretty effective as Mr. Potter. That'd probably be my second place. I think Donna Reed is good as Mary, but it's not a amazing performance. Thomas Mitchell as Uncle Billy. Of course, Henry Travers as Clarence is a cool performance. What do you got?
I think I'd give second place to Thomas Mitchell. Uncle Billy is just such a piss poor sad sack who regrettably, nearly fucks them all into prison. But him, trying to find the money and just realizing like, oh my God, what have I done? Just feeling the guilt of like, this is all my fault. And just seeing that in his face as he just collapses in his office, like he can't find the money. Great performance, great bit of performance. And then after seeing You Can't Take It With You, I got to see another side of Lionel Barrymore as a benevolent, good-hearted person with money, which is funny.
Yeah.
So seeing him as just an absolute shit is cool. And he does a great job just being the worst human being on earth.
Yeah. I feel like if your name is Lionel Barrymore and you have the IMDb picture that you have, you got to be a guy with money. You're playing a guy with money.
Well, he's a Barrymore, one of the original Hollywood dynasty families.
Yeah. Born in like the 1880s. Yeah, yeah, he just kind of was one of those first guys. Yeah, this movie's got a really interesting cast. I love the hierarchy some of these older movies have, where it's very much based around a star, and you try to get the best supporting pieces that you can around them. But as long as you got that James Stewart big print on your movie poster, you're good to go.
Yeah, for sure. I also just love the fact that he, left Hollywood, joined the I think it was the Air Force or the Army.
I believe it's the Air Force. Yeah.
He became a commanding officer, and then as soon as the war was over, he went right back to Hollywood and was still a star. Like that's fucking cool. Not a lot of people, could pull that off. People were
Oh
clamoring for
no.
more Jimmy.
Yeah, he's one of like the best guys, one of the best leading guys. The guys that can carry your movie, that can make you money no matter what if they're in it. It's one of the best people that's ever been like carried that title. The guys that were around him. You think about like John Wayne types and Cary Grant types, and there's nothing like James Stewart. They have nothing on him.
Yeah, he had class. There was not a lot of class in classic Hollywood.
No, and even now, um, I struggle to find someone who's like, yeah, that guy, that's a good guy right there. Who he's good. He's gonna do it for the people. What mainstream like movie star right now? I know we don't have a ton of movie stars right now. We're kind of in a weird phase where we don't quite know who are the most box office,
Yeah.
financially, this is going to happen if they're in the movie. We don't really know who those people are right now. But out of the movie stars, which one of them is going to go fight for our country? Like I couldn't tell you. And not just fight for a country, but in World War II. I like Brad Pitt. No, like come on.
You imagine like you're in the foxhole, they yell out charge, you look over and the guy you're paired with is Brad Pitt.
Which would be funny if it was now, because Brad Pitt's like 60 fucking years old. James Stewart at the time was in his late 30s when he went overseas. So I don't know. That'd be like Jake Gyllenhaal just turned 42. Ryan Gosling's around that age. Like Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, like those guys. I mean, Chris Hemsworth's not from here, but it's those guys like that late like mid late 30s. I don't think any of those guys are doing that.
No. It is interesting though. You brought up like we're kind of losing star power.
Oh yeah, it's one of the problems that we have in movies.
Yeah, it's event films have become the main source of Hollywood income now, and it doesn't really matter who's in them, which is crazy to me. Like take Avengers. Like, is anybody watching the Avengers for the performances? Me, but not really anybody else.
Yeah, we're definitely the minority. I mean, I go because the cast is fucking loaded.
Yeah.
I want to see a movie with Mark Ruffalo all the way down, to Lupita Nyong'o, to Vin Diesel, to Zoe Saldana, to all these different amazing performers that have done so much cool stuff. That's part of why I go. But that was brought up. I remember in that podcast that went kind of viral with Tom Segura and Quentin Tarantino. And Tarantino was like, that is the problem. He's like, I'm not trying to say that these movies are shit or anything, but I'm telling you, people go because they're watching Captain America, not Chris Evans.
Yeah,
and
100% right.
he's like, dare I say that my movies, people are definitely going to see Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio hang out with each other. Like that's a big part of the pull. Is let's go watch these two awesome dudes hang out.
True, but that's also another part of kind of the problem of the lack of star power is most people are going to see that because it's a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Oh yeah, at this point, especially, right? This late in his career after so many movies. Yeah, I don't know. I listened to some people try to name as many movie stars as they can. The list was bleak. It was very bleak. And a lot of people go to TV. They're like, yeah, the same, I got to do this also because this is where people are watching most stuff. You know, a someone like in any other generation of talent, someone as gifted as Zendaya would just be in a shit ton of movies in her, early to mid to late 20s. But what she's done is she's in Euphoria. That's all she needs. Like that has brought her to the forefront of pop culture. That would have never happened, 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. She would have had to just be in a bunch of movies. I'm not saying it's bad, but I definitely prefer people who kind of churn it out, which is why I love Timothy Chalamet so much, is because he's been in so much in the past 5 or 6 years, working with so many cool directors. I like the choices he's making. He's definitely trying to craft a resume that is a movie star, but also an award-worthy type actor, kind of like a Joaquin Phoenix or Leonardo DiCaprio, someone who's really trying to craft something special, like a legacy. And I love that about him. We don't have a lot of those.
I wonder if one of the reasons we don't have a lot of those anymore is because kind of the dark side of Hollywood got cracked open a few years ago.
That too. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. I don't know. It just feels like Hollywood got wounded and it's still bleeding and the wound hasn't been patched up.
Yeah, 100%. It may take some like waves of certain things for it to get to a place where we do have a lot of people that fans are going to see in the theaters.
Yeah.
Part of why The Whale probably won't make a ton of money. It's like, I love Brendan Fraser to death, but the general person is not like, oh my God, I got to see Brendan Fraser's new movie. I think his fans are clamoring and they're like, yeah, I got to check this out. But I don't think most people care. It's sad.
Yeah. Gone is the day when, an actor signed with a studio for like 8 pictures and they just slapped their name on the poster and whatever it was, you went and saw it because they were like, oh, there's a new Clark Gable picture out. Let's go check it out. That's done. That's gone.
Yeah, long gone, long gone. And Jimmy Stewart is one of the guys who you could just be like, Stewart and Hitchcock. That's all I need to know. Got it.
True.
I'm fucking in. So yeah, he definitely wins this movie. It's a Wonderful Life. He carries it with grace, but also an aggression at times. It's an actor's performance.
Very, very true. Yeah. I don't think no one else at that time is sincere enough to carry a film like this. Like, can you imagine like Brando as George Bailey?
Burt Lancaster.
Okay, he could have done it.
Yeah, but I would laugh a lot.
Yeah.
I'd just be like, oh my God, this guy. Lancaster's just so good at playing a drunk. He's the best at it.
Well, the whole time I'd be thinking like, well, when's the other shoe going to drop? When's he going to be revealed to be the con man who's building this town out of their money?
Yeah, building and loan. Fuck you. Yeah, I'm taking over this town. It ain't gonna be Pottersville. It's gonna be fucking Baileyville, bitch. Oh yeah, Lancaster would turn this movie on its fucking head. I'd kind of like to see it. Well, the Roger Deakins Award, favorite scene of the movie. What do you got? I'm very interested to hear.
We brought up already. It's always been the ending when the town bails him out, and you get to see just how much he's impacted the people of this town. That they are like, people are, his mom like gives up on dinner with the president to go help him. It's beautiful and it's endearing, and it's capped off by his brother's toast of to my brother George, the richest man in town.
Yeah,
it's wonderful and it's beautiful, and you can't stop smiling the whole time because it's exactly what George has always didn't know he needed.
But it comes at the right time. Yeah, yeah. It's great. Obviously, I didn't want to step on your toes. I didn't know that was going to be your Deakins.
No.
It's obviously got a movie magic quality to it where it's like this wouldn't happen, but it's cool. It's cool. It's cool that it does.
People don't. Nobody's this carefree with their money. No way.
It's kind of like, well, how can I move to Bedford Falls? Yeah, like these people seem kind of cool. Like, where do I sign up? I'm in. But I don't know. It's just magical. It's just a magical Frank Capra, James Stewart moment of movie making, and we need that sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. And it's nice to get it from time to time. I like movies that remind us that people aren't, 100% assholes. It's more like 94%.
The 6% is Bedford Falls.
Yeah. The occasional like Midwest small town where people have known each other for generations, you get a pocket of decency, but everywhere else is pretty much just universally go fuck yourself.
Just a shithole. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Oh, that's brilliant. My favorite moment is I kind of alluded to it earlier. It's the turning point of the movie for sure. It always, most of the time, a scene like this would creep up on me. But this one, every time I watch it, I'm like, I forget how late in the movie it is. It's when he meets Clarence for the first time. When he actually takes himself to the bridge, and then you hear "help, help, help" from Clarence in the water, and then they go up when Clarence is changing, and George Bailey is speaking about his problems and like what's going on, how he wish he wasn't born. That scene in that room like defines the movie for me. It's such a brilliant kind of mano a mano. For a minute there, it's mano a mano a mano, and the other guy's like, "I'm fucking out of here. Like this guy's insane. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna get lost," which is also really funny, but it's also just a methodical, really well executed scene, and that's the moment where Clarence is like, "All right, you don't exist. All your problems have gone away. Your lips stop bleeding.
Mhm.
Everything that you think is real is not." And obviously the movie changes. I just always forget it that moment's at like the hour and 40 mark of this movie. It's really just the last 30 minutes where you're going through him kind of going crazy, losing his mind in Bedford Falls. Like why does, or well, now Pottersville, nobody knows who I am, and it's got some really funny moments, but also some really dark moments because of that. They do it really well. That last the kind of final act of the movie is just wonderful, and it's all kicked off with that meeting with Clarence, that first time they see each other.
Yeah, and it's built up so well. Just this.
Oh yeah,
this angel who tells George like, "Yeah, I'm an angel. I don't have my wings yet." And George is like, "Oh, okay, yeah, this guy, okay," and then just leaves. And he's like, Ugh. And then he starts realizing, the bartender doesn't recognize him. The cop doesn't know where he lives. He's like, something's fishy here. And, for me, it all comes crashing down when he goes to his brother's grave.
Oh,
and learns that, when he never saved his brother was never in the army. So his brother never saved those men on the ship. So thousands died because George didn't exist. It's like, fuck. The butterfly effect at play here it blows my mind every time.
I don't think I've ever done anything that noteworthy in my life.
How would you know?
Yeah, that's the thing, is every time I watch this movie, I'm kind of like, have I done something like really important? I don't know. You wouldn't know until you meet a Clarence, an angel who's like, "Hey man, you actually have done some good stuff here. You're actually not as bad as you think." But you don't want to go. You don't want to go there. You don't want to come to that moment. Where an angel literally has to save you, your guardian angel. But it's really fun to watch. It's really interesting to watch, and I've always kind of thought about this movie when this movie is in the rear view for me, and I'm kind of it's something I haven't seen. In this case, I haven't seen it since we. Well, I think I watched it last Christmas. I think I did. But I rewatched it for the episode we did on Best Years of Our Lives, and every time what I think of is these moments of him kind of going crazy. James Stewart, like, "Whoa, take me to take me to my house. And the cab driver's like, hey, this guy's fucking crazy. Like he's talking to the cop, like, hey, you might want to watch him. That's kind of what I always think about when I do reflect on this movie.
For me, it's when he comes home after losing the money and he's just lashing out at his family.
Oh, dude.
Is that
Play
line
the
where he's
piano
like,
correctly.
why do we have to have all these kids? Like, Jesus.
Jimmy, calm down. It is kind of funny though when he's like, yeah, if you're gonna play the tune, play it right. You fucker. Yeah, just like she's like 5.
Oh,
Oh God. Yeah, this movie makes me laugh, makes me kind of tear up, and all the emotions come out. So for you, it's a 9 out of 10.
yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, it's a solid 8, close to a 9. It's one of those kind of like it's a hard 8. uh I don't really know exactly what's holding it back. I'm not sure. Not sure what it is, but I've never kind of leveled it up to that. Man, it's very good. It's a very good movie. Certainly a very strong movie from that decade, the 40s, which did have some fluff, did have some kind of easy, just simple filmmaking, but occasionally you'll find kind of a gem. This is one of them.
True. I have a feeling what's holding it back for you is the fact that the Clarence stuff starts so deep into the movie.
Yeah, but then again, if it started, I don't know. I feel like it's the right timing. I don't know. I mean, it is my favorite stretch of the movie for sure, but I do like the scene you brought up for your Tarantino. I love that scene. The stuff in Bedford Falls, pre Clarence, with Mr. Potter and with his business and kind of trying to um go into his dad's shoes and take that path is very interesting. Very good stuff. And I like some of the flashback stuff, like the scene when he saves his brother. I thought was a really cool scene. Yeah, maybe that is a part of it though. That only 30 minutes of the movie, that 30 minutes is a 10 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? And then the rest is strong, but not 10 out of 10 material. So maybe that is it.
Yeah, I had a feeling. Makes sense.
Yeah. God, I love Clarence. So I love when they're at the bar and he's like, James Stewart's like, I worry about you, little fella. Like, you have any money? Oh, no. No money, no food. No, he's just like such like a little meh. I'm just hanging out.
I love after they throw him out of like Nick has them thrown out of the bar and he goes to the cash register and he's pushing the button. He's like, look, I'm handing out wings. Everyone starts laughing. I'm like, yeah, you are, buddy. You're ringing bells.
Yeah, you are. I love that. Yeah, I'm handing out wings that people are like, whoa, how did I get those? The bartender, Nick, cracks me up in that scene. He's like, what do you get off knowing my name, huh? It's such like he is just hamming it up in that scene. I love it.
Yeah, we watched it tonight. My grandparents informed me that guy, I guess, got typecast as like a gangster in radio dramas and TV episodes because of course he did.
Yeah. Huh, yeah. Yeah, see?
Fucking James Cagney light over there.
Yeah, I mean, if James Cagney is Coca-Cola, then I mean, this guy is like shitty grocery store Midwest brand, that no one's heard of.
Great cola or something like that.
Yeah. Just like the grocery store I work at has a like HEB cola, and it is so bad. It just does not taste anything like Coke. That's kind of why, I equate them.
I'll never understand people who buy that stuff on purpose. It's like for like $1 extra, you can have something good.
The only one that I like is, the Big Red one. It's called Wild Red. It's almost the exact same. I love Big Red. I tried the Wild Red and I was like, this is pretty close. But like the Dr. Pepper one, shit. Coke one, shit. The Sprite one, really bad. That Wild Red is the only one that tried.
I wouldn't know because I fucking hate Big Red.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people tell me like, "Oh, you like cough syrup?" And I'm like, "Oh, I did at one point. But no, I love. Whoops. I
Jeez.
do, I do, I do like Big Red a lot. It's also kind of a Texas thing, you know. Big Red's definitely a southern soda, and I just drank it growing up, and I still like it. I understand why people hate it though. I don't even like cherries. Fuck me, right?
It doesn't even taste like it tastes like liquefied bubble gum. And I
Oh,
just
okay, that's fair.
ugh.
Well, in case you didn't know, the Wild Red at HEB in Texas is close to the Big Red. Oh man, this has been fun. 19th Academy Awards, 1946. Let's see. It's a Wonderful Life nominated for 5 altogether, which doesn't seem like enough, really. I don't know, right? Doesn't 5 seem little low?
Well, compared to when we did this ceremony and we saw what the competition was, you're goddamn right.
Okay, yeah, I should have said that. That's a good point. I mean, we're a little split on Best Years of Our Lives. I really, really, really liked it. It is very long, but I have just not seen a movie like it. I don't know. It just felt fresh to me for its time period, and I don't know. Again, just tough as nails, and I really responded to it. So I was okay with it, kind of doing some damage, but It's a Wonderful Life is not far off in my mind, and might be deserving of more recognition, if that makes sense. It's a movie that I don't see how you couldn't like.
No.
So I don't know. I've always kind of tried to set aside my personal admiration for stuff and like what everyone is going to enjoy.
Well, I was talking more about the other three movies.
Oh, the other 3
Yeah.
suck. Yeah.
Henry V, The Razor's Edge, and The Yearling were shit. All three of those were shit.
Yeah. Like I don't even know anything about them anymore. You know what I mean? Like they're just gone. They're
Yeah.
just
Best Years of Our Lives for me was a solid 7. Like, not a bad movie, but I feel like with a couple more watches, I could get on board. I
I
could probably
see.
find
Yeah.
something in there. But these other 3 movies, they've been fleshed out. I don't. I'm not thinking about them anymore.
Like I'm good. Yeah. Totally, I'm totally good. Now, with that being said, people should still watch them for themselves. You just never know what's going to be up your alley. But for you and I, we were pretty aligned with those other 3. We were like, no, these are not for us. Which makes it one of the like weaker Best Picture showdowns we've ever done.
Yeah, we want I think at least 3 solid movies is a good year. Four is great. 5 is beautiful, but 2, and for me, like basically 1.5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Typically, you get at least 2 real movies, at least with these years that have 5 nominees. Like what comes to mind, like 1960. You get The Apartment and Elmer Gantry, and you're like, okay, I'll take those to the bank. I will take those. Then you also get like The Alamo and Sons and Lovers and Sundowners, and you're like, those were shite. Like those were just no good. But they're not like it's whatever because those other 2 are so strong. You're like, it was worth it. It was worth doing the research to get Elmer Gantry out of it. And then you get a year. What's something we've done more recently? Like 2000 comes to mind. Chocolat, I'll take it or leave it. But those other 4, I fucking dig a lot. Traffic, Aaron Brockovich, um, Gladiator, and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Fuck yeah, give me those movies all day. That's a good group. So yeah, I'd say 4 is kind of the dream. I don't think we've ever come across a year where all 5 were awesome, like all very deserving. 2007, but they like, do they really deserve it over 310 to Yuma, Zodiac? You know what I mean? It's like, nah, they left stuff on the table that year.
closest we've come yet is 1948.
Aside from Hamlet,
Yeah, aside from Hamlet,
wonderful.
4 incredible, life changing movies.
You know what? Yeah, yeah. Those are so powerful. Especially Sierra Madre. Jesus H. 1979. That's 5 good movies. You got Norma Ray and all that jazz, Apocalypse Now, Kramer's Kramer, and Breaking Away. Like, it's a cool group.
It is, but for me, I wasn't that turned on with all that jazz.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh, Mr. Bob Fosse, which was why it was so cool to know that you liked Cabaret, 1972.
Well, Cabaret
Interesting.
made sense.
Yeah, all that jazz is pretty fucking out there. But Roy Scheider though, yeah, that guy rules. Uh, it's a Wonderful Life. First category, best film editing. I guess is where we'll go.
Okay.
Film editing. We've always said this is it's a good way to look at. Most of these movies are usually going to translate to the best picture category. So the winner was Best Years of Our Lives. The other nominees are It's a Wonderful Life, The Jolson Story, The Killers, and The Yearling. Jolson's Story and The Killers, those are not movies that are in Best Picture category, but the other three are.
Oh my God, we got to see The Killers.
Yeah, I was just about to say, what is that? I mean,
That is
Iron Maiden
Burt
album?
Lancaster's film debut.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yep. Ava Gardner, Edmund O'Brien, based on a short story by Ernest Hemingway, co-written by an
Stop.
uncredited John Huston.
Stop. Wait, so Burt Lancaster plays Ernest Hemingway? Is that what you're
No.
saying?
No, the movie is based on a short story by Hemingway.
Whew. I was about to say, holy Christ. Because if anybody can play Hemingway the right way, it's fucking Birdie Burt. Oh, man. Yeah, that sounds great. I definitely want to see that.
Yeah. In terms
I'll see anything with Burt though.
Yeah.
He's got that on me. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. In terms of what gets this award, yeah, I'm comfortable keeping it with The Best Years of Our Lives, considering that was working on, three separate stories, intertwining them together. That film had to edit quite a lot, so I think it pulled it off.
Yeah, and it's long as shit. So I always tend to lean towards the ones that if they pull it off and make it a coherent movie while, like you said, intertwining stuff for sure. Best sound recording. Love that. I love that name for it's best sound, recording.
Why can they never get this right?
I don't know. What's this movie? The Jolson Story won that category, beating It's a Wonderful Life and The Best Years of Our Lives. What's the Jolson Story?
That is it's a biopic about Al Jolson, the guy who starred in The Jazz Singer, the first talkie.
Okay, that makes sense. I figured, but I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, he was pretty, before we realized blackface was a bad idea, he was pretty idolized in Hollywood for
Yeah.
But then we were like, wait a minute, this is really fucked up. And we stopped talking about him.
Well, I would be interested to see it, just to see like what was at one point popular.
Yeah. I mean, at the very least,
fascinating.
It is the story of like the first movie with dialogue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's in quite a few categories I see. So yeah. Let's see. Let's do actor. It's a cool group. You got Friedrich March, won for The Best Years of Our Lives, beating Laurence Olivier for Henry V, Larry Parks for The Jolson Story, Gregory Peck for The Yearling, and James Stewart for It's a Wonderful Life. What a group. I mean, I'm giving this to James Stewart, like, for sure. But this is a titanic group of performers.
Yeah, all for like work that they shouldn't be nominated for. Like Peck and Olivier should not be here. Their performances are not Oscar worthy in those films.
No, they were guys though that didn't have to do a whole lot, especially Olivier.
That's true. But yeah, Jimmy Stewart is, at top form here. I think he deserved this.
Yeah. I mean, it's a movie star's performance. Just batting 1,000%. He's lights out. Best director. William Wyler wins for The Best Years of Our Lives. Yeah, he beat David Lean for Brief Encounter, Frank Capra for It's a Wonderful Life, I don't know how to say that, Siodmak, I don't know, for The Killers, movie we obviously need to see and research, and Clarence Brown for The Yearling. So, this is tough. Wyler and Capra obviously are kind of going toe-to-toe here. we probably should see the Killers before we make that call. I'm gonna go Capra slightly. Just a I don't know. This is just a certified classic.
Didn't you watch Brief Encounter?
I think I did. Yeah, that looked familiar. I think I let me look that up. I'm pretty sure I did. Like for the episode, I think.
Yeah, because I remember you saying something about that.
And I'm looking up right now. I mean, that's so many movies ago. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck. 1945. Yeah, I've seen this. Yeah, I have seen it. Hour and 26 minutes. I probably watched it on Criterion.
Must not have made much of an impact.
No, not at all. Not at all. Once I saw Celia Johnson, I was like, yeah, I have seen that. Yeah.
It is cool to see William Wyler, David Lean, and Frank Capra go up against each other for Best Director. Three of the most incredible directors of the 20th century. But yeah, Capra, just because I like the movie more.
Okay. No, I did like that movie. Wait, I watched this for a different. Wait a minute. Oh, I know what I did. I watched this for the Lost Weekend because I saw 1945. Because we did the Best Picture Showdown not that long ago. I liked this movie. That was a good one. Yeah. Now that I'm like, I looked at the poster and I was like, wait a minute, I liked that. that was like, I don't know, 3 months ago. Yeah, that was a good movie about a woman who gets caught like in a love triangle, essentially. That was really good. Yeah. Yeah, that was on Criterion for sure. And I remember like, oh, I'm going to watch extra 1945 stuff for that ceremony. And it wasn't even at that ceremony. Dumbass.
I've heard of it. I know it's a beloved film, and I would like to check it out. And I've never been disappointed by David Lean, everything I've seen.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. That's hilarious. It's all flooding back. God, I think I watched too much stuff.
I don't think that's ever happened to me where I've completely forgotten a movie I enjoyed.
That's happened. I was looking back at all the movies I've watched throughout 2022, and I was like, Jesus, I forgot about that, but I liked it. Just things just kind of come in waves, and I just can't stop. And then I think my thing is I watch a lot of sports. And I just get lost. I just get lost in where I'm at. What am I doing? What form of entertainment am I inhaling tonight? Yeah, Brief Encounter. Fuck me. I definitely liked that movie. That's so funny. I forgot about that. I think I explained that on the episode of Lost Weekend that I should have watched a different movie from the actual ceremony we were talking about. But here it is, coming up in an organic way. Brief Encounter, David Lean, my man. I'd still go Capra though.
That was great. That was fantastic. Yeah, Capra.
After all that, so really, all I need to see is the Killers, and to have a full scope of the category. It's funny
considering our obsession with Burt Lancaster, and this is one we might want to add to the calendar next year.
just for fun. I've thought about doing it. I've been thinking about doing an Ellen Mergantry show and just centering around Burt Lancaster and just watching as many of his movies as we can. That could be a chance because Gantry, he's a winner. So it's a winning performance.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Yeah, and to rewatch Elmer Gantry for the show, to do awards for it. Yeah. Elmer Gantry, definitely one of my 100 favorite movies. It's going to be on that list. God, it's so good. Let's see. Best motion picture. Best Years of Our Lives takes the win, beating Henry V, It's a Wonderful Life, The Razor's Edge, and The Yearling. It's a coin flip for me between Best Years of Our Lives and It's a Wonderful Life. The other three are like getting lapped like 45 times. It's not even a close race, but these two movies are solid. I give this, when I think about it in the way that we've kind of been doing Best Picture Showdowns more as of late, I would give the edge to It's a Wonderful Life because I don't think a person with a pulse couldn't enjoy this movie. Best Years of Our Lives, I understand that there's people that are going to be in the camp and be out of it. It's a Wonderful Life. If you're not in that camp, I'm like, get the fuck out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is a beautiful film. It would have been cool to see a Christmas movie also be a Best Picture winner. I don't think that's ever happened.
Yeah, that would be neat. Yeah, it's actually kind of limited, the like Christmas movies that we can do on like as far as Oscar nominated. You got some random ones. Like I think I want to throw a Scrooged on the schedule for next year. I think that'd be like a really unique one to do because we've done Die Hard, Home Alone, and It's a Wonderful Life. It's like, whoa, we need to pump the brakes. We're that's three of the most gargantuan Christmas movies. Like Nightmare Before Christmas is one we could do.
Yeah.
There are movies that were up for stuff, but there's not as much as you'd think.
Miracle on 34th Street's always
That's
a
classic.
go-to we could do.
Yeah.
I think the Shop Around the Corner has a couple nominations.
Yeah, that's a good call. Carol is a 2015 movie that's based during Christmas time. That we could get kind of outside the box.
Yeah. If it hadn't been for Brendan Fraser's comeback, we probably would have been doing Batman Returns a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, see, we could save that for years down the road. Yeah, I want to always do a Christmas movie for Oscar Sunday.
The Bishop's Wife. That's my last one. But yeah, we've got
We're only doing.
Yeah, it's basically this, just with Cary Grant.
Yeah, exactly. Take your pick.
Yeah, but we've got since we're only doing really one a year, we've got plenty of ammo.
Yeah, we should be good. I just don't want to do all the classics right away. I want to kind of like Scrooge is kind of a unique one. People who like it love it, and then other people just haven't seen it.
Yeah, I did that on FILMGAZM. I did way too many classics way too fast, and now we're kind of scraping, which isn't I'm thanks to Josh and Caleb. I'm learning about a lot of other weird Christmas horror movies. But yeah, I kind of did everything big all right out the gate, which I regret doing.
Hey, that's just room to adapt. And as we do, as years go by, it never hurts to redo something with different people, different guests, under a different scope. Think about how much we've changed over the past just 3 years as movie fans. I was listening to our Black Christmas episode and I was like, this is pretty good, but I definitely have more to say than I did 3 years ago. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's good. If we had no growth, would we even be doing this anymore?
Yeah, no. I just feel crazy if I was thinking the exact same thing I was thinking just a week ago. That's great. Yeah, this is fun, man. I love doing this shit. We always get some unique moment. This week it was the brief encounter moment. God, it's so funny. You were like, "Haven't you seen that?" I'm like, "No." And I looked at it and I was like, "Yeah, I have. I like that movie."
Yeah, the story of your brief encounter with Brief Encounter.
Yeah. It's literally an hour and a half. It is brief, and yeah, no, I definitely liked it. It was definitely for the Lost Weekend. That it was for that episode. Doing a little 40s stuff. I want to say, what's that other? Can't remember the name. There's another. What did I watch that for? That Burt Lancaster movie where he actually plays like a full-on drunk. What did I watch that for? The fuck is it called? I watched those around the same time. I feel like it wasn't a fantastic movie by any stretch of the imagination, but Burt Lancaster was like off his rocker. I feel like it was in the 50s though.
Yeah, I'm going there now, looking up. I remember you talking about that movie. What
did I watch that for? I might have just done it for the fuck of it. Because it's Burt.
Come Back Little Sheba. That was it, right?
Yeah, Sheba. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, God, he's just fucking lights out. He's so scary in it.
That was 1953 Academy. All right.
I wonder why I would have done that.
I don't know.
1953. So same year as From Here to Eternity.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right. Awards and honors. Shirley Booth.
But he wasn't up.
No, he wasn't.
which is crazy.
19. I'm sure this is riveting for our audience.
Just reading stuff. Yeah.
But now I'm like, I need to know. Okay.
Great podcasting. Yeah. Just
Bolshevik.
That's fucking hilarious, actually.
It's not even because of the fucking. Not even at that awards. Checking
Yeah.
a different ceremony.
Yeah, I don't know what it would have been. Because he was up for Here to Eternity, Elmer Gantry, Birdman of Alcatraz in Atlantic City. What a cool run. What a guy. We've talked about 3 of those movies already.
Yeah.
From Here to Eternity, we did a Best Picture showdown. Gantry came up on a showdown. Atlantic City came up on a showdown. That's crazy.
Do you think because this is about a recovering alcoholic, this also might have been for the Lost Weekend?
I don't think I knew that though going into the movie. I don't know. I'm not sure. It's gonna come to me, and I'm gonna text you later tonight and be like, "Oh, this is what it was for."
Okay, this was at the 19. This was the Greatest Show on Earth Awards, and what did we? Viva Zapata.
Good call.
That was
Good
gonna
call.
bother me all night.
Good call. Yeah, that is exactly right. Definitely. I was trying to watch other stuff like from that. Yeah. Yeah. Good call. Viva Zapata. Man, like I haven't forgot about that movie. I actually really enjoyed that episode. I thought it was really good. But we just immediately I'm like thinking about whatever's next, and what's the next episode? What are we gonna do? When's the mummy coming?
Yeah, it is hard to we got to kind of dump the tank and start refueling pretty quickly with these shows. But I always like to find something that sticks around.
Okay, so that's part of the kind of the science behind it, like the project behind it is there are movies that we've discovered through this that we bring up over and over and over, and I think that class belongs to Sierra Madre for sure, Elmer Gantry. Those 2 get brought up all the time. After that, there's probably a drop off as far as just like the influence. But personally, for both of us, we've had things that are like, wow, that like really like just leveled me, when we did the Chinatown episode, I finally watched Lenny. And I was like, oh my God, is this Dustin Hoffman's best performance ever? You have those moments of your own personal movie journey, and they stick with they really do. They stick with your heart and your mind. And when you need to bring them up and talk about them, it's fun. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's all about finding what matters to you and getting more ammo for the conversation that's constantly evolving and growing and transforming in ways we didn't really expect.
Yeah, straight up, man. Straight up. Speaking of, well, we don't know what's coming next. We're going into a new year here. This is crazy. Next time we do an Oscar Sunday episode, it'll be in January of 2023. But before that, we do have a couple more episodes from FILMGAZM Productions for FILMGAZM and Beyond the Bad. This Wednesday, New Year's Evil.
Yeah,
that's the FILMGAZM. Got to do something New Year's Eve. It's just around the corner.
Yeah, I know pretty much nothing about this. This is a blind pick. I picked it entirely because it's called New Year's Evil, and I'm doing it with Josh. I think he's a fan, so he'll pretty much be guiding me through this weird movie.
Yeah, I can't say I know much about it. 1980, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Who's in it? What's the
holiday slasher? Guy calls a DJ on New Year's and says, every time New Year's hits a new time zone, I'm killing somebody and I'm going to stop. Like, you're the last victim. So that's what's going to happen. And he starts slashing people on New Year's. I don't know how he's getting to all these time zones so quickly. I guess I'll find out.
Cool. Yeah. Got a 4.8 on IMDb. All right. A 33 Metascore. Okay. Here we go.
I think it's rocking like 20% on Rotten Tomatoes. This could have been a Beyond the Bad, but you know what? My selection process was not as thorough as it usually is.
this is the rare occasion where the movie that you're doing on Beyond the Bad might have better scores. It's Waiting,
Yeah.
the 2005 film with Ryan Reynolds, fucking Justin Long. Got a crazy cast. Yeah, 6.7 on IMDb, 30 Metascore, not great. But hey, this movie's got like a cult behind it.
Yeah.
I'm not quite in that, but I do like Waiting. I do like it.
I liked it way more after I worked in food service, and then I was like, oh, okay, all of this makes way more sense now.
Yeah, yeah, I like it kind of as a time capsule. It's very 2005. Ryan Reynolds just doing what he's got to do. It's
Yep.
just pre Deadpool money, pre Deadpool fan, stardom. And there were times in his career where you're like, what is that guy doing? He's just like he's in Van Wilder and Waiting and all these, like just kind of shitty, low quality movies. But hey, I don't know. I kind of like some of them.
Yeah, he's pretty much just, this is Van Wilder working at a restaurant, or Van Wilder as a chubby guy in high school. It's like and now he's like Van Wilder as a superhero. Let's be honest, he never stopped playing Van Wilder.
That's true. What's the one where he's chubby in high school? Just Friends?
Yeah,
I kind of like that movie.
that movie hit so fucking close to home in so many ways. I liked it because I'm like, yeah, I went through something similar.
I kind of like that movie. I'm gonna be honest. There's a scene in that movie that sticks with me. I think they're at the mall, and a guy falls like over like a balcony type thing. And it's one of those kind of silly throwaway moments in a movie. But when the guy falls, he's like, "Oh my god!" and nothing else happens. Like the scene just continues, and you just hear Ryan Reynolds keeps doing the walk and talk. Me and my brother Jeremy always thought that was so funny growing up. Like if Just Friends was on TV, we'd be like, "Oh, has that moment happened yet?" the moment at the mall. Oh my god,
That's awesome.
only Jeremy would understand that. You know what I mean? It's one of those things.
Also, cool news. Provided all goes well over the next week, we will be recording episode 3 of Fake True Stories next week, which means early January release for Pocahontas.
Oh yes, I will be tuning in for that, my friend. Yeah,
Yeah, that. Oh, I'll save it, but I hate that movie with a passion for what it does to American history and how Disney thought they could just do that and no one would notice. It's like, oh, I don't get it. So I'm looking forward to digging into how that movie came about and how anybody greenlit that shit.
yeah, dude. Oh man, yeah. I can't wait to hear what you guys say. I can't wait to hear what Isabel has to say about it. That's gonna be fascinating. I definitely one of the most annoying movies of all time.
You can't do straight fairy tales and then do one historical film and just completely change an entire generation's view of Native American history. Because a lot of people think that's how it went down because that movie was so successful, and that's dangerous.
Yeah, it's the danger of movies and like utilizing history. Just yeah, it's very dangerous for people who don't want to read and do their own research. So it also comes out like in the middle of fucking Lion King and like Hunchback, and you also got the Pixar, the Toy Story, and you got Goofy movie coming out. It's now.
Yeah, so many great, memorable, unforgettable Disney classics, and then you got Pocahontas.
Yeah, no thanks. Yeah, okay, cool. So 2023 is looking good. The first episode of Oscar Sunday is going to be a little different for 2023. We will be doing a 2022 draft. It's definitely going to be Connor, Caleb, and myself. We might have an extra guest. We'll see. Hopefully, it'd be really cool if we get 4 people for that. We're not going to be giving awards to any specific film. We're just going to be doing a draft, highlighting the stuff we liked from the year. And then at the end of the episode, we'll kind of talk about what we're excited for 2023, kind of looking ahead. Everybody can kind of pick some favorites that they're kind of circling on the calendar. So yeah, I'm super excited. We'll kind of reflect on our, what we thought about the year as a whole, what we think about movies, uh, the state of movies right now. And it's going to be a good, like, cathartic episode, but also just fun to pick movies we like, steal movies from each other. There's nothing like a good draft.
Yeah, this will be a cool change of pace, kind of open the year to a little bit more experimentation, which is
Yeah.
always good. Change the formula a little bit, keep things from going stale. Always a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, stick with us. We got a lot of cool shit planned for next year. I'm super, super excited. It's going to be another good year for FILMGAZM and company. So, you guys keep following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at FILMGAZM. Check out our website for new reviews and random stuff. And Merry Christmas, guys. Have a good day. Be safe out there. Enjoy the holidays as best you can. And we'll see you guys on Wednesday.